Hello everyone, today is Monday, February 22nd, 2021. Welcome back to Jacob Talks Politics. Now, in this video, I'm going to be taking a look at some results and exit polls and maps from the 2020 presidential election and the 2016 presidential election, as well as a map from the 2012 presidential election, and see how certain areas and demographics and states and counties of the country have trended from each election. So what you're looking at right now is the Wikipedia map for the county results for the presidential election in 2020. So what do the colors mean? Obviously, I hope you know red means Republican, blue means Democrat, and the darker the color, the higher percentage of the vote each candidate got, and the lighter the color, the lower percentage. So some maps show the margin of victory, like the difference between the percentage of the vote that each candidate got, and this map shows the percentage. So this color, for example, over Nevada, this color of red means that Donald Trump got somewhere in the 70s percentage of the vote in this county, whereas a darker county like this one in Wyoming might mean 80%, and this one in Montana might mean closer to 90%. And then when we look at, I don't know, this county, for example, in California, this light blue one, that'll be less than 50% of the vote that Joe Biden got. And then as we get darker, we get somewhere in the 50s, in the 60s, 70s, 80s. So you get the point. But we're going to be looking at how each county and demographic has trended from the past elections. So this map right here is a map of the 2012 results, and you'll notice it's in a lot of places it's a lot bluer. So let's take a look at the Midwest. So this is a very important region politically of the country, and you'll see right off the bat that states such as Iowa, which Barack Obama won both in 2008 and 2012, has a lot of blue compared to in 2016. This is the 2016 map, and in the 2020 map. So if we look at this, look at how blue Iowa was in 2012 and how much it shifted from 2016 and then to 2020. And then this map shows how counties trended from 2012 to 2016. So we can really see how dark areas in the Midwest are, such as in Iowa and in eastern Ohio and much of the Rust Belt. And then we can also see how counties have trended from 2016 to 2020. So right off the bat, I'm going to start with the shifts in the Midwest from 2012 to 2016, how much redder this area got. So if you can see, it's very blue, then it got a lot redder. And this is because a key demographic in the Midwestern area, white, uneducated, blue-collar workers. Now, I don't have the 2012 exit polls up, and if you don't know what exit polls are, they're when people with media companies will stand outside voting locations, polling places, and ask people about their demographics and who they voted for to get a good idea of how each demographic group voted. So if we look at 2016, education and race, whites with no degree, they made up about 34%, about a third of the total electorate, and they voted for Trump 66 to 29. And I can tell you for sure that this number was smaller. This was a smaller margin for the Republican back in 2012. And if we look at 2016, that margin likely narrowed. Hold on while I find this. Education by race, 67 to 32 in 2020 for Trump, 66 to 29. So in 2020, Trump gained a point and Biden gained 3 points. So Biden did close the gap with white non-college educated voters, And that's how he got the map from this to this. And he won back Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, and he narrowed the margin in Ohio and Iowa, while also growing Clinton's margin in Minnesota. So next we're going to look at down in the South. So an overall trend that I want to point out, the North has been getting a lot redder, and the South has been getting a lot bluer in recent years. If we look at Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, and Ohio, and Iowa, and New Hampshire, and Minnesota, they've all been getting a lot redder. Whereas Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, Georgia, Virginia, North Carolina, they've been all getting a lot bluer in recent elections. So if we take a look at the trends from 2012 to 2016, we of course see how much redder the Midwest and the North got. But if we look at the swing from 2016 to 2012, you can tell it's not as extreme. But what you might notice is how extremely red this area is. Well, why is this part of Texas red, as well as this part of Florida? This is Miami-Dade County. Well, it's because of Hispanic and Latino voters. Now, Donald Trump won Texas in 2016 by 9 points. Now, in 2016, most of the states moved to the to the right, but a few states did move to the left. Texas was one of them, because you have these big cities like Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio, and Austin, and Fort Worth, and El Paso. They moved these states to the left. So in 2012, Mitt Romney won Texas by 16%, a margin of 16% over Barack Obama. It used to be a solid Republican state. How much did Donald Trump win over Hillary Clinton in Texas by in 2016? 9 points. And how much was it in 2020? It was 5 points. So Texas has been moving to the left rapidly over the past few elections. So this is how the state trended from 2016 to 2020. And you might be wondering how it is that Biden managed to narrow the gap in Texas by 4 points, even though there's all of this red here. Well, it's because he still managed these cities, such as Dallas and Fort Worth and San Antonio and Austin and Houston. They make up a much, much, much bigger portion of the state's population than this area. And this area is where there are, along the Mexican border, is where there are a lot of Hispanic and Latino voters. And I guess you can imagine why they might have been disgusted, for the most part, to vote for Trump in 2016 with his rhetoric about the wall and immigrants and all of that. And when that wasn't as extreme in this election, they moved way to the right in this election. And that's how Donald Trump actually managed to win Florida by more in 2020 than he did in 2016. He won it by about 1% in 2016. He won it by about 3% in 2020. So a big shift there. So if we look at exit polls from 2016 by race, we look at the Latino vote right here. It made up about 11% of the electorate, and it went for Clinton 66 to 28. 66 to 28. And then if we go to 2020, remember 66 to 28. 65 to 32. Meaning that Biden lost a point and Trump gained 4. So, big difference, and that's how these areas moved so much. And there's actually some counties that flipped. If we look at the 2012 map in Texas, see all of this blue. This is a very blue area where there's a lot of Hispanic voters. And then still somewhat blue in 2016. And then in 2020, it was still somewhat blue, but a lot of it flipped. Look at the difference between 2016 and 2020. This is one of the few areas that Joe Biden did not do as well as Hillary Clinton. 2016, 2020. Look at that shift. And you can see Joe Biden flipped this county, and this county, and this county. He flipped a few counties, and he narrowed the state overall. But it's in these more Hispanic and Latino areas that Donald Trump really outperformed his 2016 margin with Hispanic voters. So I just think it's really interesting to see how certain regions of the country have been moving to the right up here, and the North and the Midwest, and also in the South how they've been moving to the left. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you're interested in seeing political content like this, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and share the channel with your friends.